So true. I'm telling you, vince-stao nationalism, literally the future of the Republican Party. You cannot stop it. Yo, look, I'm the baby now.
This monument will never be desecrated. These heroes will never be defaced. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
John, thoughts on vince-stao nationalism?
Oh, I mean, I've been campaigning that for the better part of 3 years now. Before I even knew Vince, it actually appeared to me in a dream, and I just have sort of been trying to like subtly, when they say John Doyle dog whistles, he does, but not the way they think. It's always about vince-stao nationalism. They sound like a white nationalist. No, I'm a vince-stao man.
Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo as long as we are led by politicians who will not put America first. Then we can be assured that other nations will not treat America with respect, the respect that we deserve. The American people will come first once again.
Millions of Americans sincerely love Donald Trump. They love Donald Trump because no one else loved them. The country they built, the country their ancestors fought for over hundreds of years, has left them to die in their unfashionable little town, mocked and despised by the sneering half-wits with finance degrees but no actual skills who seem to run everything all of a sudden.
Okay, very epic. Let's go, guys. So quick stream tonight. But I did actually want to talk about a lot of the stuff you are seeing in the professional sports world right now. Because I do think it matters. I know to a lot of people it seems kind of like a normie thing to talk about, like oh look at the woke corporations going now. But the more I thought about, and that was what my initial reaction was. But the more I thought about this, the more I realized like there is actually kind of something to this. Like there's something going on here, right? And give me a second. Let me just send this out. Okay, like I think there is actually kind of a deeper, I guess I'd say, symbolism to all of this. Let me first start off by saying though that I am done. I'm tired. I am against progress. Okay, I am. And I know when people hear that, usually they say it with progress in quotation marks, right? That's kind of the thought. I think it was actually Dave Rubin a few years ago who coined the term regressive progressive to describe the left, right? So that's to say, well, progress is good, but you guys aren't really for progress. I mean, this is the wrong type of progress, or even like, this is not progress. And that's what a word like regressive progressive essentially says. But I'm not here to say that. Okay, I'm here to say that nope. As a matter of fact, the problem is progress, not with quotation marks, not with modifiers. Progress itself inherently is the problem. I'll talk about that in a second. But long story short, I am simply done with progress, and it is time to turn back the clock. Okay, it is. It's time to turn back the clock in society. I've had enough of progress. We've had clearly enough of it. And I don't say that simply because I'm like black-pilled or whatever. I saw something really stupid that turned me into like the Doomer Wojak. You know what I mean? Like that face that you just see it and you're like, we're all gonna die. You know what I mean? That kind of like, no. This is a kind of a thought out, something I've thought a lot about and actually considered a lot about. And yeah, the problem actually is progress. Not with any modifiers. The problem is progress itself. Fundamentally, what actually is progress? Progress simply is the basically moving away from whatever was currently considered the norm and whatever at the current time and in the past as well was considered to be traditional. So progress in the American context essentially would mean the movement away from whatever was considered traditional in older American society. And that's exactly the problem. I mean, just think about it for a second. Conservatives always say this too, and it's true. America is basically built upon the greatest foundations out of any civilization in history, And so what actually is progress? Progress is the abandonment. Progress is the moving away from the things that form the very foundation of our civilization. And if you concede, if you would acknowledge, and I know a lot of leftists wouldn't, but if you're a conservative, you would probably acknowledge, or at least you should acknowledge, because that's basically what it means to be a conservative, that the actual foundations of our society are good, are righteous, are just, are moral, and are correct, then no, you should not be referring to progress as something like regressive progressive or saying I'm against this for. No, you should be against progress, because progress inherently is the abandonment of these things. Anyways, with that being said, well, I did want to discuss basically very briefly on this stream what the kind of the stuff you're seeing out of the professional sports world, like I said. And I'll start with what I actually talked about in the title of this stream, which of course was that the NFL has now declared that football is gay. Okay. Yep. Nope. I'm not. It's not a joke, by the way. They actually, and I'm not like metaphorically saying this. Like, hey, they outright said, and I quote, "Football is gay." And I like to watch this and kind of break this down because it I don't know. I found it kind of like funny, not in a funny way, but in like a just a ridiculous self-own way. But I think this type of stuff is actually important to talk about. It's not just like, haha, whatever. And I'll explain why in a second. But first, let's actually watch this ad. So this is like from, I guess, the new an ad, I guess, from the NFL, basically supporting the Trevor Project. But let's actually take a look at this. I think this is quite interesting to take a look at. All right. Again, football is gay. Let's take a look. See that? Football is gay. Football is lesbian. Football is beautiful, queer. Whoa. Football is freedom. Football is American. Football is accepting. Football is everything. Football is for everyone. All right, so we got it, right? Let's actually take a look at it again, and let's talk a little bit about this. So first of all, though, actually, I'll say that in a second. All right. So right off the gate, NFL proudly supports the Trevor Project. Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. All right, let's rewind this again. Okay, let's take a look at this again. So immediately, you have football is gay. Is it though? I mean, is it really though? But let me actually, I'll talk about that in a second. Let's look at this one real quick. Football is lesbian. How? Well, we'll talk about the football is gay in a little bit, but I think this most directly is like just how does that work? Football is a male sport. I mean, it is, and don't try to tell me, oh, well, Vince, don't you know that there's some girls like 1% that play less than 1%. I'm sure it's less than that, who play football in like high school and pop. No, okay, I don't care. It's a male sport. Okay, a female, like physically, biologically, cannot make it past football beyond like the Pop Warner level. Okay, even in like high school, like once because the only kind of advantage I guess they would have in Pop Warner is that females usually go through puberty before men do, and usually when you're very young, the physical skills are basically equal right before all those hormones kick in. But still, it's even then. How many girls actually play football at the level? No, they don't. It's not a girls' sport, much less a lesbian sport. But football is beautiful. Okay, football is queer. Football is life. Football is transgender. Yeah, because I'm sure we just have a lot of transgenders playing the sport of football. But yeah, interesting question here, right? Conservatives very often usually like to say things like, well, they're just pandering for money, right? That's what they always say on Pride Month. It's like, hey guys, it's woke pandering month, But I really have to ask the question: pandering to who? Because gay people, let's just say, are not exactly the target demographic that is watching football, much less playing football. Who are the type of people who actually watch the sport of football? Mostly straight, very masculine, or not always very masculine, but more masculine men. Okay. Who are they trying to appeal to with this, right? And that's the thing. It's not about money for them. That's what conservatives need to understand. The NFL knows they are losing money with stuff like this. And they literally don't care. Okay. They are willing to essentially, and this is what people need to understand. This is what people kind of need to wake up to, right? These corporations, specifically the NFL, okay, because yeah, gay men are not exactly the demographic that is enjoying the NFL here, okay? These corporations are willing to lose money in order to push this stuff. And we kind of know that it is because the NFL's ratings have been basically down. I mean, in 2019, they had a little bit of a resurgence. In 2019, I don't remember exactly, but what I remember was kind of a more entertaining year in the league. But NFL ratings down. Since essentially 2016, the NFL has been seeing a drop in ratings. And let me actually see. You can basically figure that out like this. NFL ratings down 2016. Okay, 8% dip from the last year. 2017, down 9.7%. Huge slide, right? 2018, again, down 10% from last season. So it's like sliding off a cliff here. 2019 is the only year where they saw a slight resurgence, right? And then in 2020, we're down again. Now, to be fair, 2020, you could excuse to being COVID. Sports are a little bit more boring during COVID, but I would still say it's the case that overall, there's really less interest in the NFL than traditionally there has been. Does the NFL think that by doing stuff like this, by doing something that is alienating its target demographic, it is like magically going to win over a bunch of LGBT viewers? No. I mean, listen. As dumb as a lot of people are, I don't think that's the case. I think the NFL very well knows that this is actually kind of alienating its viewers. That's exactly it. They don't care. Okay. And that brings me to kind of the point, I think, behind all of this really, which is that essentially the decline of professional sports into like what we would refer to be wokeism, right? Why? I mean, why is it happening? Because it's certainly up. David Bailey. Let me read the super chats real quick. David Bailey sends me $1. Thank you very much, David Bailey. Let me see. I got another one. What is this? Which one is this? Baseball is superior to football. Changed my mind. Hey, well, we won't discuss the sports rivalry in a little bit. Okay, don't worry about that. But in my opinion, all right, this basically has to be a psyop. It has to be, okay? Obviously, not just with this ad, but, the woke decline of America's professional sports. Because basically, the only, I think, sector Where you could argue that maybe it helps a little bit is like with the NBA, and that's not even on the LGBT front. That's just that all the Black Lives Matter front. I mean, yeah, who is the NBA's audience? Predominantly black. To an extent, the NFL has a lot of black viewers too, but I think the core demographic that really makes up the big viewership base of the NFL is probably a lot of white men. I mean, that's what it is, right? That's what and I don't say that in a bad way. I say that just as a reflection of what it is, And let me see. Someone else sent me $5. Our Supreme Court is as useless as a cold cheeseburger from Culver's. So true. So true. I think what this essentially is, it has to be, okay? I've thought about this. It has to be. It has to be a psyop to basically demoralize and, demasculinize. Is that the right word? Demasculinize? I don't even think that's a word. I just made up that word, but it's called, we do a little bit of wordplay here. Okay. To remove the masculinity of specifically masculine men, right? Because that's the type of people who watch the NFL, like the NFL predominantly. Okay. And you see this in the NFL. You see this in a lot of professional sports leagues. You even see NASCAR, okay? And there's no excuse for NASCAR. NASCAR is like all basically like Republican voting conservative men who watch NASCAR, okay? Like 90%, And even you see a lot of this nonsense from them. I mean, what is going on here? It can't possibly be for money, It can't possibly be because of any of that. If they were being smart with money, they would just stay neutral, right? That's like the best way to run a business, just stay out of anything contentious or controversial. No, this has to be like an actual psyop to basically, demoralize us. I mean, demoralize masculine men. It's just so true. Okay. Demasculinize is a word now. So true. It absolutely is. Vince Dow says, read. I thought I did. Our Supreme Court is as useless as a cheeseburger from Culver's. Cold cheeseburger. Now hot cheeseburgers are very useful, but cold cheeseburgers, I mean, that's just so true. I love the preposition that, football is gay. I mean, first of all, this is just a self-own, okay? And now listen, I'm not an NFL guy, okay? I don't like the NFL. I mean, I watch the NFL like during the playoffs occasionally, right? I mean, I watch the Super Bowl, obviously, but it's like I'm not an NFL fan. I am a football fan, but I'm a college football fan. I mean, like that's my sport, okay? But still, their proposition here, like I'm personally offended by this too, because their proposition is not that pro football is gay. What do they say in this? There you go. Football is just gay. Okay, that's what they said. Football is gay. Can I just say that this will be used as propaganda for anti-football people till the end of time? Okay, I mean, the NFL really spat in the face of its fans here, and obviously, like I said, that's the point. I think it's actually a psyop to do this, okay? Because now, what is going to be the dig from like baseball? Like literally, the NFL has spit in the face of every single football fan. Because what is going to be the response now of baseball fans? Football is gay, bro. Bro, football is gay. Don't you know, bro? Football is gay, and it's like, that will no longer just be like used as like, football is gay. It'll be like, no, they're like, look. The NFL literally declared football to be gay. Okay. So again, it's just so demoralizing. And like, listen, like I said, I don't watch the NFL, but they did declare football to be gay. I actually used to play football. Few people know this. But I used to play, I played Pop Warner. I was on the team a little bit in high school. I actually didn't have time, so I quit. But like, I am a guy who was brought up in the sport of football. Okay, it's called We Do a Little Football, and this like the personal insult, to say that the sport I played. I shouldn't say that on YouTube, but the statement. Okay, I did nothing on an insult. Okay, YouTube, but the statement to say that the sport I was playing was gay all along, very hurtful. Okay, and that's the thing. So someone says, he says, NFL's base is largely low IQ lemmings who will accept whatever the current narrative is presented to them. Well, that's the thing. I think, with the NBA, that's probably the case, but that's the thing is that the NFL has a lot of Republican voting viewers. They have a lot of conservative viewers, or at least they traditionally have. And they have been seeing their viewership go down. That's the thing. And it's like, I genuinely don't think the NFL cares. I don't think they're trying. Hey, Vince, the Trump rally, during the Trump rally, okay, I'll talk about that a little bit later in the stream. Don't worry, I got you on this. Okay. It's just so true. The NFL says, football, why are you gay? Who says I am gay? Football says, who says I am gay? You are gay. Hey, so true. Okay, so true. This comment right here, right on the money. But all right, that's point number one. I was obviously going to talk about on the stream, and it's just really but of course, the other thing I think we wanted to discuss, and I think we all knew that this was coming, was at the Olympic qualifying trials. I'm sure you've seen this by now. I don't even know her name actually, but I just know that this is what happened. National anthem protests, whatever. So obviously, I'm sure you've seen Gwen Berry is her name. And this is track, right? Yeah, this looks like, it looks like track to me. So this is at track. I'm sure you've seen this story, right? You have this black female track athlete. National anthem plays. She basically like turns away, refuses to acknowledge it. Refuses to face the flag. I mean, this picture, there are just so many conclusions and so many things that can be said about this single picture right here. But what I will say is that, I hope you guys all watched my Juneteenth video. I thought I prayed some pretty solid points in this video, but I don't want to say that I basically predicted seeing this, because I think this is something we've seen for a while and knew was going to happen for a while. But I think this really does contextualize what I was talking about in that video. What was the point of that video, right? What was I talking about? It was basically this cultural creation of a separate black nation in the United States, right? But not a physical nation, not like literally the creation of the Black States of America, but rather the creation of a separate black national identity within the United States, right? So what was my point in that video? My point was that when you give black people a separate national anthem, right? We've had the black national anthem that was played at NFL games. That all ties together well. We have the Pan-African colors, who basically have become the patriotic colors of Black America, right? Nowadays, when Black America celebrates patriotism, celebrates Juneteenth, whatever it is, you don't see the stars and stripes. You don't see red, white, and blue. You see the Pan-African colors, which are the colors, by the way, of basically a far left Marxist movement, right? But that's now basically been become the colors and the flag of the separate black nation. And obviously you have Juneteenth, correct? The Juneteenth National Independence Day. And so my assertion was, what is the agenda here when you are creating a separate Black Independence Day, a separate Black national anthem, separate Black national colors? What they are trying to do is specifically separate Black identity from American identity, right? What is the goal of that? Well, the goal of that is not actually to create the Black States of America or whatever it is, or Chaz, or whatever you're talking about. The goal is actually to simply divide America against itself, right? That ultimately is the goal. And if you ask me, I think largely this is an effort that's being pushed by the globalist order, as I often call it, right? People with the specific agenda, cultural Marxists, obviously, right? The people with the specific agenda of tearing down this country. Like I said in the Juneteenth video too, in a multiracial country where demographics are changing very, very rapidly, it's really not that hard to divide a nation like that, right? A nation that lacks homogeneity. All you have to do is pit XYZ minority group against other XYZ minority group, or even better, XYZ minority group against XYZ majority group, right? And that's essentially what you see going on here. And so let me just say to people who were kind of pissed at this, okay, so this is specifically to like people like the Hodge twins and conservatives who went along with Juneteenth National Independence Day. Can I just ask the basic question? Is this really a surprise to you? I mean, is it actually? When you don't think it's a big deal, when you create a separate Black Independence Day, Black National Anthem, Black colors, all this stuff, why should it be a shock to you when not all Black Americans, obviously, but many Black Americans refuse to acknowledge the actual United States of America, the regular, normal United States of America. When you create a Black national anthem, why is it a surprise to you when many Black people choose to acknowledge that national anthem, but not the American national anthem? You know, and remember what the Hodge twins said in that video. They were like, "Oh, it's just not a big deal." You know what I mean? It's like, who cares really? Well, listen, I mean, actions have equal reaction consequences, or rather, what I should really say is that, you know, the slippery slope, like, isn't really a fallacy. It's just true. When you basically get an idea floating out there, it's going to go to its end conclusion. And in my opinion, this is the end conclusion of it, right? Well, I wouldn't say it's the end conclusion, but it's a road along towards that end conclusion, right? Okay, so you start planting the seed. I mean, the seed's always been there, but I would really say, like, in probably around the late 80s to the 90s, with, you know, that the sort of resurgence of the movement prominent. And I'm not saying it hasn't been around, because it has, but like the 90s, I think, was when the cultural seed was really planted in deep, right? So where do you think this really basically ends? Okay, so you see the slippery slope. At first, it's just like you hear a lot of unpatriotic, anti-American sentiments coming out of the Black community. Okay. Next, it's like, oh, the creation of a Black national anthem, you know, the Black Independence Day, this and that. And then simultaneously, what are you seeing in pro sports? It progressively gets worse. First, it's just Colin Kaepernick kneeling. Everyone thinks he's an idiot. You know, a lot of people kind of condemn it. They don't like it. But then what happens? Nobody stops him. And that sort of that Black separatist sentiment just continues and grows more. Black Lives Matter becomes a political movement about 2015. And what happens? Next thing you know, you have a few other players choose to join him. And then what happens? You know, and Colin Kaepernick gets kicked out of the league. Not kicked out, actually. Let's be honest. The reason he was thrown out of the league was because he sucked at playing football. He sucked at quarterback. But still, Colin Kaepernick's removed from the league. And then, but that didn't stop it, did it? The movement basically intensified. It grew. Next thing you know, like a few years, like last year or so, or 2 years ago, you basically had like entire teams now kneeling for the national anthem, right? Saying these things, and then, what ultimately how do you think this all ends? Next thing you know, you have like Megan Rapinoe and all these people. And then here's what we have now at the Olympic qualifying trials, right? This is a person who's not playing for the Patriots or whatever. This is a person who's, you know, competing for the United States national team, or at least trying to qualify to, at the Olympic trials. And probably, I would guess, if she does make it to the Olympics, she will probably do this as well. You know, is straight up condemning the national anthem, right? Refuses to acknowledge the national anthem, literally facing away from the flag. Okay. I also, can I just say also, I think it's very funny that she came in third. That's karma. Okay. And I guess that's the white pilling of it. You know, at least she didn't win the race. Okay. She comes in third, but, you know, she's here in third place. Again, can I emphasize that she came in third place? I mean, I feel like that's probably something that's good to emphasize and really just rub in her face, because I believe she deserves it. She deserves to be reminded that she did not actually win the race. So true. But, you know, nonsense like this is where it all ends. And obviously, I'm not necessarily saying on the topic of Juneteenth, you know, we reacted to the Hodge twins' whole video of it. I'm not saying that it's like, had Juneteenth not been deemed National Independence Day, she wouldn't have not done this, because I'm sure she would have done this regardless of Juneteenth came a holiday or not. But it is to say to people like the Hodge twins and to conservatives who you know, basically go along with the creation or fine with the creation of this Black separatist movements, you know, you are contributing to this. When you refuse, when you go out here and make this whole video, Hodge twins, about how, you know, the National Independence Day thing is not a big deal, and basically shame the conservatives who oppose this and shame the Republicans who voted against it because of those reasons, you are contributing to not necessarily this directly, but you're contributing to the attitude, and you are empowering and giving power to the people who do stuff like this, okay, and who want to do stuff like this, and ultimately who want to create this divide, you know, in our nation. So, you know, that's basically all I wanted to talk about on the stream. Again, like I said, it's a rather brief stream, but we'll read the chat for a few minutes, and then I got stuff to do. But, you know, that's how it goes. I mean, the slippery slope is real. I mean, what do you have here, right? So first, this looks like an older picture. I don't know exactly what year this is. First is the raised fist, and then what do you get? Literally just turning away from it, right? And not to bring up the whole normie arguments of, if you don't like this country, you can leave. But it is true. You're out here. This attitude is just so infuriating to me too. It's like, you're obviously, and I'm not saying if you want to protest like this, go ahead, because I will condemn you regardless of what platform you're using, right? So I'm not saying like, well, you have your freedom of speech, just not here. No, shut up. Don't do this anywhere, because it's just stupid and dumb and anti-American. But still, I think there is something to be said about the attitude that drives this as well, right? It's like, and I think this is an attitude that is pervasive in the culture. Here's a person who is competing for the United States of America, chose to run for the United States of America, right? She's choosing to do this. She could have ran for whatever, I don't know, a country in Africa or the Caribbean or whatever country she wants to run for. She chooses to compete for the United States, which is also harder, by the way, right? It is harder to qualify for the U.S. as an Olympian. That's why a lot of American Olympians who are like not good enough, they'll go compete for their country of ancestry, right? But you choose to do this, and this is what you do. I think there is something to be said about that attitude. Maybe it's the reason she came in third place as well. I mean, something to think about. Right? That mindset. You can't imagine she's exactly the hardest worker. But anyways, let me. That's all I basically wanted to talk about on this stream. Walnut says, Vince, make me mod, please. I will remind me at the end of the stream. I will do this. I will do that after the stream, because I have to. I can't do it from here. I have to actually go into the live chat to do it. Videomaker 2341 says, "Hey Vince, did you see my recent video of Rap's face reveal on my channel? I did not. I'll have to go take a look. I'll have to go take a look on your channel. As a matter of fact, why don't we actually go take a look right now? But can I also say though, I think it's also, in a way, it's fitting, right? Someone says, and actually that kind of came to mind, because someone said in the chat, they said, what did they say? Okay, I lost it, but something along the lines of, it's like, yeah, if you're competing for the U.S., then, obviously you shouldn't be protesting the U.S. while you're doing it. I think there is also something to be said about that, right? Because I think it's a good representation, not good in the sense that it's good, but in the sense that it's accurate. I think it's an accurate representation of basically where we are as a country right now, right? And so in that regard, there is something to be said about it. That's kind of the state. I think that honestly resembles and embodies the actual current state of our country. That's what it is. We're a joke of a country, nowadays. And also, I think it very well demonstrates the Balkanization of America, right? This is something that Buchanan basically foresaw and predicted, and it's true. America no longer is one nation, right? It's balkanizing along cultural and ethnic lines. It is. It absolutely is. And this is a good symbol of it. This is a good representation of it. Anyways, I saw a chat that says baseball is superior to football. Changed my mind. That is not true. Okay, listen. I will still shill for football nationalism. Okay. All right. Listen, it's like, it's nationalism. It's patriotism. It's like, I do not, just because in the same way, it's like, oh, you love your country and your people, not your government. That's the same way. Okay. I still do. I wouldn't say I love the sport of football, but I still am a fan of the sport of football. Okay. I just do not appreciate the institutions that are in charge of it. All right. Same thing going on here. Basically like the NFL and the NCAA really is no better. I mean, I guess they're slightly better because at least they don't have the infrastructure to directly do stuff like this. They do have the infrastructure to do a lot of other stupid things though, which I'm sure some of you may have seen, right? But football is still a superior sport. Okay. Listen. For all of its problems, it's still much more entertaining than baseball. I would have to say that baseball is boring. It's so true. I'll say baseball when it matters is not boring, right? Like I actually find the World Series and the baseball playoffs to be pretty entertaining because of the tension, right? I think that's why it's so entertaining. It's like how tense it is, right? And so it's boring to watch well, a guy swinging at a ball and nothing really happening, but at the same time, kind of that realization that he could like hit a home run at any moment and change the game. I do find that entertaining, but I think in order for that to be entertaining, there has to actually be high stakes. And when you're talking about a sport with like how many regular season games, like 80, right? Is that how many regular season games there are in baseball? Like 81. It's like, unless there's something on the line, it is very boring to watch something like that. But when there is something on the line, I will say it is actually pretty entertaining to watch. But it's just like no one wants to watch 80 regular season games of baseball. You know, it's like it has to matter for that tension to really kind of add to it. I would say 162. Okay, I was wrong. Actually, I think it's basketball that's 80. Huh? I got that mixed up. 100. Like who wants to watch 162 times? Okay. Again, if it was shorter, when it's in the playoffs, when it's the World Series, I actually do find that entertaining. But it's like, who the hell wants to watch that when it really doesn't even matter? Why do no conservatives ever like soccer? Because because soccer, is cringe and European / Latin American, right? It's not an American thing. It's not an American pastime, okay? And so, you know, listen, we will create the baseball football alliance against the sport of soccer. Okay, I will happily do that because as much as we like to do a little bit of trolling to one another, at least the both of us are solid American pastimes. Okay, so we must push back on the globalist attempt, the globalist psyop to invade our country with soccer. It's a globalist psyop, and you know, I think very clearly all American nationalist sports, all American pastimes absolutely need to unite against the rising threat, the foreign invasion of the sport of soccer into cultural prominence in the United States. It's a global, few will understand this, but the promotion of soccer and people who promote soccer are engaging in a globalist psyop. It's so true. It's just true. Few will understand, okay, but it's true. We can all agree that America's game is Wheel of Fortune. That is true, actually. I would say there is truth. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I would say that's true. Not necessarily entirely in a good way, but I think it is pretty emblematic of American society, right? Because it's basically, I don't know. It's like, okay, you spin the wheel, so that's kind of like gambling, and then with the word stuff, you're basically taking like a wild guess, right? And I think that does embody kind of the usage of money in American society today, right? It's basically like we're all gambling, right? In a way, we're all gambling kind of today with money in society. That's kind of how we view it. So that is true. There's actually deep truth to that. Wheel of Fortune is kind of emblematic of at least modern American society. This is literally every American soccer hooligan club. I don't even know what that is left wing or Antifa infiltrated compared to the No, that's true. Listen, like, you know, I have no problem with like Europeans and Latin Americans too, like taking pride in soccer. Like that's based, and the way they do it is based, right? And it's like a nationalist thing for them. I appreciate that. I support that. But the thing is, of course, right? Keep Europe, keep Latin America, and keep the United States of America, the United States of America, right? And that attempt to fuse the sports culture, it's so true, essentially is a globalist psyop to erode the American nation state and American traditions. It's so true. It's simply so true. So let's see. Alliance against soccer loses the Hispanic vote, Vince, think. But that's part of the thing though. Listen, what was, remember my whole video about the Hispanic vote? Okay. What was my last point in that video? My last point was that the biggest problem we have with the Hispanic vote, and not just in terms of elections, just culture in America in general, is the lack of assimilation, the lack of Americanization, right? And what was one of my biggest points? It was that a lot of people in the Hispanic community, obviously we have a lot of Chad Hispanic conservatives, But many in the Hispanic community do not have, and this, I would say this is basically the general consensus, do not have a strong sense of national identity to America, right? They do have a strong sense of nationalism and national identity, but that loyalty is to their home countries. You see this all the time. And I actually think soccer is probably the biggest symbol of this, right? Because, when for instance, when Mexico plays against the US in soccer, who do you see most Hispanic Americans actually root for? Is it America? No. Most of the time, they actually root for Mexico, right? And who do they kind of support? Who's kind of a lot of times when they watch soccer, they're not like shilling for, the U.S. national team, even when they do. What are they doing? They're rooting for, Brazil or Honduras, or Guatemala, Mexico, right? They're rooting for kind of what they view as their home country's soccer teams. In order to assimilate the Hispanic community into American culture, you have to, maybe not electorally, but culturally, you do have to take a stand against soccer, okay? A reasonable compromise, at least root for the American soccer team. But the ideal compromise, you get Hispanics to reject the sport altogether, become football fans. And by the way, many of them are, okay? Like, you see this. I see this in LA too. It's like, the newer Hispanics are soccer fans. But the people who have been here for generations, and a lot of times they kind of still have kind of like, they're still kind of culturally Hispanic, but they don't watch the soccer. Okay. They're watching football. They're LA Rams fans. Okay. It's so true. Okay. So that's the thing. Taking a stand against soccer, yeah, it's not something that like would be very popular currently among Hispanics, but it's also something I think you have to do in order to actually Americanize the community, which is something that you're obviously in the long term gonna have to do. It's not enough to simply just go along with, hey, you guys believe in the same family values as us. Like, no, in the long term, you have to assimilate. You have to create assimilation. The first way you do that, change cultural viewpoints on soccer. It's so true. Okay, very deep, but it's true. Why would you? I don't know. I must have been one of the moderators. I'm not even really looking at the chat like that right now. But soccer equals globalism. No, it's just so true. It's so true. All right. Is UFC inherently based? Also, King, were you able to fix my ticket? I'm going to fix your ticket. Thanks for reminding me. But I did figure out how to do that. I don't really watch it that often, but you know what? I have nothing against it. It is. I think I would say it is inherently based. Yeah, because it's just so hardcore. It's just like, how can you not say that's based, right? It's like it's as masculine as you can get. It's as brave as you can get. UFC. I think UFC fighters usually have something wrong in the head. And I don't say that derogatorily. It's just like, in order to really do a combat sport like with that dedication, you do have to be a little bit crazy. But at the same time, the mentality behind UFC is one that I think we need as a nation anyway, right? That sort of boldness, braveness, masculinity, not giving a damn, right? You do need that. Anyways, what do I think of strength sports? I mean, personally, I don't really think like weightlifting and stuff necessarily should be a sport, right? Not that like I'm like against it being a sport, but to me, it's just like, I feel like it should be something that you kind of do for you. You know what I mean? I'm not against weightlifting, obviously, but it's like the idea of making strength sports. I don't know. I personally, it's just really not my thing. But I guess it is a way to like, usually like when you're competing for something, you are always more dedicated to it, right? I mean, that is just true. Like, the most ardent person who just goes and like lifts and stuff never will be on the level of someone who actually is like doing it professionally or to compete. So that is true. That is true. Anyways, I did say I was going to talk about the APU event. Someone in the chat asked about that earlier. So we do have more details, and so I will give it to you. But long story short, okay, guys. So if you guys live in Tampa or the Tampa area, or you're going to SAS, which is, the Turning Point conference that's happening next month, you are hereby invited, or even if you're not and you want to just fly out. I mean, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can do that as well. Okay, you can be from out of town as well. You are here. I'm going to post a link to the Eventbrite right now, which will show you a lot more of the details. This is not like officially public yet, right? We haven't like officially released this yet, but it is happening, and it's it's going to be pretty epic. So I put it in the live chat. But on the evening of Monday, July 19th, we will be holding the first ever official event for the American Populist Union. Okay, it's going to be called the American Populist Summit. 1 night, 3-hour-long event. It's going to be pretty epic. Tickets are pretty cheap. It's only about $25 for the ticket. And it's going to be an epic event. Okay, so I'm going to be, I'll give you kind of the speaker list, both confirmed and unconfirmed, because we're also working on other speakers. And I will throw out their names just to hype you up. Okay, so definitely I will be speaking. Red Eagle Politics will be speaking. Nathaniel Abbott, Badan will be speaking, and John Doyle will be the headline speaker. Okay, so that's what's confirmed. I forgot to mention this also. Kai Clips too. Kai from TikTok. Yeah, he's going to be speaking as well. Very epic. So that's the confirmed speeches, and then we may also be getting Paul Gosar. Okay, that's a maybe though. No promises, but we're working on it. We'll see if he can make it, right? But Paul Gosar may be speaking, and Bryson Gray may be performing a few songs too. So that's going to be the event, and we'll let those last two are unconfirmed, but it's looking like probably I wouldn't say like 100%, but maybe about like 60%, right? That's probably going to happen. So that's what's happening. Again, July 19th, Tampa, Florida. If you're going to SAS, the hotel we're doing it at is, I mean, the venue is like officially private. You'll be sent the venue through email, but the venue is like literally right across the street from the convention center. Okay, so you won't even have to drive if you're going to SAS. Like it's literally right there. It'd be very convenient. In fact, you may even be staying in that hotel. I don't know specifically where they're putting people up, but it is very close to the convention center. So walking distance, basically across the street. So if you're going to SAS, it'll be very convenient. If you're not, but you live in Tampa, you want to come, again, you are still invited as well. Will you stream it, or is it exclusive to the audience? I don't know if we'll be streaming it, but we definitely will be recording it and posting it. Whether we're streaming it is going to depend on what kind of setup we're able to like get, right? But regardless, it won't be an exclusive event. If not, then we'll post a video like afterward if that's what we have to do. We're hoping to stream it though, hopefully. So yeah, it'll be very epic, you guys. So again, let me put in the live chat again. This is the link to the Eventbrite. I'm sending it out to like you guys before I make like the whole big public advertising campaign, right? So again, that is the link to the event. And if you're not, oh, by the way, let me mention this too. If you're not going or you're not able to make it, but you do want to financially support the event, because we are grassroots funded. That's true. Okay, we do have a mega donor. His name is Sam Madsen. He's in the live chat very often. But besides him, right? Besides him, and he doesn't donate directly to APU, but like he donates to me, Red Eagle, right? But overall, we're not funded by donors or anything. So if you'd like to support the event, there's also at the Eventbrite, there's a link to donate. You can just donate to support. If anything helps, $5, $10, $15, however much you want, but it all helps. Okay. Because this venue and this event is pretty expensive. I mean, we were able to cover the cost, but it does cost. It's called We Spend a Little Bit of Money. So if you would like to financially support the event, that would be greatly appreciated as well. Will there be merch or stuff like that? I don't know about the event, but we probably will be releasing APU merch pretty soon. And if not, definitely VinceDao merch. I don't know. They are kind of synonymous when you think about it, right? So it's so true. But yeah, again, Tampa, Florida, if you're going to SAS, pull up. If you're not going to SAS and maybe you're considering going just to go to our event or, and just see a little bit of SAS, you can do that as well. So if you're interested in that, you can apply on on the TPUSA website. And I mean, if you go through them, if you go through and get in town through them, they give you very cheap hotel rooms and stuff like that. So, and I think they even do cover flights sometimes. So if you're interested in like coming from out of town, that's kind of the avenue I would suggest to get out here if you're interested in that. If not, you can always just pull up too. Like I don't care. I'm just suggesting if you want to save money, that's probably the move. But if not, it doesn't really matter to me. But regardless, you should pull up. Very epic. Will you do a separate stream on David Chapman? I guess we could. I mean, I feel like that's more Red Eagles thing. Like that's kind of the four horsemen. There's like four horsemen of the Red Eagle channel, right? It's like David Chapman, Let's Talk Elections, that Joshua guy, and I'm sure there's others. Who else is there really? I don't know. Nate Plastic, I guess, right? I mean, I guess I could. I feel like it's not really my thing. That's more his thing. But we honestly could. I pull up Da Vinci. So true. So true. Yo, we got Jeff Davis in chat. Let's go. What's up, Jeff? But yeah, we'll read a few more chats here and then I'll call it a night. I got stuff to do. Actually, the stuff I have to do is planning for this event. Okay. This event's going to be very epic. I promise you. So again, if you're going to SAS or even now, maybe you want to go to SAS just to see us. Hey, go ahead. Right. Pull up. It's going to be very epic. It's going to be very great. Thoughts on anti-plasticism? It's true. No, dude, plastic is, and don't get me wrong. Like I won't say that I never eat or drink stuff out of plastic because I do. I think we all do because of the convenience. But it is so bad for you. It is true. It's true. It's bad for you. It's bad for the environment too. And I don't say that as like a leftist, but I do say that as like a conservationist who does want to protect the natural beauty of my nation. It is just plastic is just not good. It's just not. So. That's absolutely true. Let me see. Actually, before we wrap up, let me see. Let me actually go as I promised to the Video Maker the Video Maker's channel, because he did say that he has the rap face reveal on there. So let's actually go take a look at that. Video Maker 2341. Okay, the Video Maker 2341. I'm not sure exactly what he has on the channel, but let's go take a look. Oh, here it is. Yo, let's go.
But they are putting your family into it.
This was from the stream on Saturday, which I wanted to keep up, but I had to take down because of guidelines purposes. But let's take a look.
Very bad position.
Yo,
releasing criminal aliens. Funding abolishing cash bail. Look at New York.
He has arrived.
Through the roof.
The king is here.
Never been anything
so
like
true.
Murder.
God damn it.
The roof.
What's
the
up,
police
dude?
Are
not much.
Doing so much, but they're not.
What happened to your stream? I heard it was it just got nuked.
They want to solve the problem.
So I invited you to ours.
New York, Chicago,
it has not
Los
worked.
Angeles, they have great police forces.
Very sad. Is that it? All right, but you can join ours.
It's a very sad day.
So true. You got to stop streaming out of the Culver's parking lot, dude. I think everyone secretly knows that's where you stream
guns, and that's what they're doing. And if you remember when I
let's go. Okay, so there it is, guys. So if you guys want to watch it, here it is. I'll leave a like. It's on Video Maker 2341's channel, who I will subscribe to. Very epic. Very epic. So you can't get it almost anywhere. Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know, because I've known in the past that, like, I've seen this where it's like, if you delete a stream, right, like you can't find it. But if someone had copy pasted the link from before it was deleted, sometimes they're able to watch it. So let's see. Oh, here we go. We also got Red Eagle's reaction to Real America. Oh, okay, let's take a look at this as well. Oh, here. Yo. So yeah, if you guys want to watch this and that or save it, it is on the Video Maker 2341's channel. So true, very epic. Be sure to subscribe to him. He's cool. It's called We Do a Little Video Maker Nationalism.
Oh boy. No.
How's it going?
Let's go.
Great.
I can't believe
called
that you're
me
actually faced
2
with,
years
like, that's
ago. She
impressive.
said, "Sir, do you think we could have fireworks at the magnificent, those?"
Can we just say that is the power of Vince Dow and Vince Dow nationalism? Okay, few understand this, but it is only with the power and the spirit of Vince Dow nationalism do we have the power to get rap to show his face. It's so true. This is something that has been requested for like basically a year now. Who got it done? Huh? It's your boy over here. I'll be like Trump and just brag about myself. So true. So true.
Magnificent faces. I love those
The
faces.
stream suddenly became base. Let's go.
They
I
said-
lost the bet. I have to.
No, let's leave it the way it is. But
This is going to be a
Chicago
meme
couldn't
for
be
a while,
fireworks.
isn't it?
It's
No.
it's so true. It
What's the
absolutely
problem?
yes.
They won't approve it. The Democrats.
Actually,
they won't
real
approve it
quick,
for years and years and years.
There,
I said, is there anything that can
people
burn?
can
No.
screen like this, do like
No,
this.
Stone.
People can
What's the
screenshot
problem?
this.
They just won't
So
give it.
true. They
So
absolutely
we
can.
gave it,
Thank
and we
you.
Wait,
had
yeah.
Doesn't
a
exist.
night to remember, right? Remember that? That was something.
Did he make any?
But yeah, very epic. All right. With that being said, guys, we'll wrap up the stream for tonight. Let me just see. Oh, Carter Shaw's in luck because we are going to wrap up about right now. Mr. Orange Horseman says, I'm planning on starting a political commentary channel. Yo, let's go. Very epic. Very epic. But yeah, have a good night, guys. I might be out with a video tomorrow. I actually haven't done like videos in like a week. I've just been streaming. It's so true. It's called We Do a Little Streaming. But yeah, I don't know if I'll post it because I won't be home tomorrow, but I could pre-record something. We'll see. I don't know. There's this video I've been wanting to make. I don't have a script written for it, but I basically wrote like an op-ed on this, and I've been meaning to make it into a video that basically goes over. It talks about suburbs, right? Because I've talked about this a little bit, like how basically the American, because obviously we see that the suburban trends, we all know it's the big story of the elections nowadays. It's like the suburbs moving away from Republicans. I basically want to make this whole video about how the suburb and the invention of the suburb is an inherently conservative concept, and basically what suburbs are doing right now is inviting in their own political suicide. And it's a fire video. Okay, like whenever I record it, I promise it's gonna be very good. The only question is, when should I post it? Like, we must wait for the right time for this. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, guys. With that being said, anyways, have a good night, everyone. See you guys like tomorrow, Wednesday, or whatever. And peace out.